And now, Death Valley Days. Howdy, folks. I'm the Old Ranger, and I have another interesting true story for you about the historic Death Valley country.
You are about to watch a murder trial. The case of the notorious red-headed bandit who once terrorized the whole Death Valley region. The time is May 1883. The place, Independence, California, seat of Inyo County where Death Valley is located. In the old courthouse on this spring morning, the wheels of justice are already moving in the trial of Red Haskell.
I shall prove, gentlemen of the jury, that the accused did, on the 18th of January of this year, shoot and kill one Wesley Rogers, stage driver, on the road between Darwin and Lone Pine. And that he did also, on the night of March 4th, murder in cold blood one Cyrus Barlow at Tule Ranch, Panamint Valley. The motive in both cases, robbery.
We have heard the opening for the prosecution. Does the defense wish to make a statement?
No statement.
All right, the prosecution will call the first witness.
The first witness, Your Honor, is Mrs. Juliana Carhart of Darwin, California.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So help me God.
Mrs. Carhart, I understand you are a widow.
I am, going on 17 years.
You support yourself?
I do. I run the Pioneer Restaurant in Darwin. Best eating place in town.
Mrs. Carhart, where were you on the afternoon of January 18th of this year?
On the stage, going from Lone Pine to Darwin.
Tell us what happened.
Well, just beyond the turnoff to Cerro Gordo, we were held up. I heard a voice say, "Throw down the box," and looked out to see this bandit standing in the road with his gun aimed at the driver. Instead of obeying, the driver cracked his whip and yelled, "Get out!" That's when the bandit fired and shot him. I let out a scream. I couldn't help it. The fellow walked over to me. For a minute, I thought he was going to shoot me, too, and said, "Shut up." And as if that wasn't enough, he reached out and grabbed my gold watch, the watch my deceased husband had given me when we were married.
And you had a good look at the killer.
He was this close to me. I could see the color of his eyes, a cold gray, and a scar on his right cheek, even his red whiskers where he needed a shave.
You'd recognize him if you saw him again?
Oh, if you mean, is that the man sitting there? Yes, there's no doubt about it.
You positively identify him?
He's Red Haskell. I'd swear to it on a stack of Bibles.
Well, there, she certainly ought to know this. Thank you, Mrs. Carhart. No further questions, Your Honor.
Any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Carhart, how did you know that the bandit in question was Red Haskell?
How did I know? Why, the driver said so.
The driver?
With his dying breath, he cursed him. "Blank, blank your soul, Red Haskell," or words to that effect, which I can't repeat.
No further questions.
The next witness, Mr. Alfred Hobson of San Francisco, California, detective for Wells Fargo.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Hobson, how soon after the events of January 18th did you go to work on the case of Red Haskell?
As soon as the news of the outrage had reached headquarters, I left San Francisco on the 27th for the desert. Stopped at Cerro Gordo on the 30th to check. Learned that Red Haskell had just been seen over in Amargosa, the other side of Death Valley. That's why I was caught off guard. He tied me up at the point of a gun, right there in the Wells Fargo office, and proceeded to rifle the safe. He got away with over $10,000 while I watched helplessly.
But you did watch.
I never took my eyes off him. That's Red Haskell.
Your witness.
You say you stopped at Cerro Gordo, Mr. Hobson, to check.
That's right. I wanted to get the lay of the land.
So you weren't familiar with the territory?
Oh, I had maps. But a map doesn't do you much good when you're chasing an outlaw like Red Haskell. The fellow was everywhere at once.
Mr. Hobson, how did you know that the man who entered the Wells Fargo office in Cerro Gordo and robbed the safe was Red Haskell?
Wells Fargo had a file on him. I had studied his pictures carefully.
So there was no doubt in your mind as to his identity?
None whatsoever. It could have been nobody but Red Haskell.
Thank you, that's all.
Call your next witness, Mr. Wyckoff.
Jose Carrasco, Tule Ranch, Panamint Valley.
This is the second murder.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You worked for Mr. Cyrus Barlow as a ranch hand.
See, 5, maybe so 6 years.
Did you get along well with him?
Sure, he good boss. Jose very sorry he set out.
When did he sell the place?
1 week before he is killed. This is why he have so much cash money.
Will you tell us in your own words what happened on the night of March the 4th?
Me, Jose, sleep in the bunk room. I hear one shot, another shot. I run to the ranch house, and I found my boss on the floor, dead. A stranger with a gun stand over him. He turned around to point the gun to me, and he said, "You be a fool, and the same thing happened to you."
What did you do?
I do like he tell me, help him put this money in the saddlebags.
You got a good close look at him?
Plenty too close. He had the gun on my ribs.
Look at the accused, Jose. The prisoner. Have you ever seen him before?
That is him, Red Haskell, the man who killed my boss.
That's all. Thank you, Jose. Your witness?
Mr. Carrasco, had you ever seen Red Haskell before that night at the ranch?
No, senor.
How did you know it was him?
How? See, he say so. He say, you move plenty pronto, or Red Haskell will pump you full of lead.
I see. Well, thank you. No further questions.
Prosecution rests.
The counsel for the defense.
Your Honor, Mr. Foreman, gentlemen of the jury, The defense does not deny that the crimes which you've heard described here were committed. I shall not attempt to refute or disprove the charges brought against Red Haskell by the prosecution and substantiated by the testimony of these highly reputable eyewitnesses. You're all anxious, I know, to arrive at a just verdict in the case with the least possible delay. So I shall call to the stand one witness only. The accused.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You heard the evidence of the three witnesses called to the stand.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Juliana Carhart, aboard the stage last January 18th when the driver met his death at the hand of Red Haskell. Do you recognize her?
No, sir. I never saw her before.
Mr. Alfred Hobson, bound and gagged in the Wells Fargo office in Cerro Gordo on the night of February 1st while Red Haskell robbed the safe. Do you recognize him?
I never laid eyes on him in my life.
The third witness, Jose Carrasco, ranch hand, who on the night of March 4th found his master slain, and the murderer self-identified as Red Haskell, still on the scene. Do you recognize Mr. Carrasco?
No, sir. It's the first time I ever saw him.
Yet each of these witnesses has separately and positively identified you as Red Haskell. You are Red Haskell.
No, sir.
If you're not Red Haskell, who are you?
Andrew Clayton.
Your Honor, I object. This is a trick. All these fellows have aliases.
Overruled. You may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Clayton, how do you happen to find yourself in your present predicament?
Well, sir,
Tell us in your own words.
It all started back last July. I've been prospecting for nearly 3 years without any luck. Not a glimmer. My stake had long since been used up, and I borrowed till I couldn't borrow no more. I had no friends and no partner. By this time, I didn't even own a burro. I sold him to rustle up some grub. Now that was gone. All I had left was a gun and a couple of bullets. So, one day in desperation, I decided to take the short way out.
Drop that gun! What's the idea?
I got it right.
Don't move! I'll pick it up. Well, I be darned. What's your name?
None of your business.
Don't begin with an H, does it?
No.
I thought you might be a long-lost twin I'd never knowed about.
There is a resemblance.
Resemblance? Almost like looking in the mirror. Same color hair? Same eyes?
Give me back my gun.
Look, brother.
I'm not your brother. I don't have any folks anywhere. I'm alone in the world.
A lot of people are alone.
Look, mister, I'm down and out. I've hit rock bottom. Don't even have a price for a can of beans.
Is that all? Money? Why, money's the easiest thing in the world to come by, if you know the ropes. See them saddlebags there? Got close to $3,000 in there. that I made just this morning.
How?
Same height, same build, be a cinch. How'd you like it if 10% of that swag was yours? $300 for doing nothing.
What are you talking about?
You've heard of Red Haskell.
I think so.
You think so? Gosh almighty, man, I'm famous.
Well, I don't get to talk to folks much.
That's fine. So much the better. Because from now on, you're going to pass for me.
The devil I am. Give me back my gun.
Hold on, hear me out. This is a great proposition I'm offering you.
I said, give me back my gun.
And I said, hear me out. You'll have nothing to do with the actual holdups. You'll be 50 or 100 miles away. That's the whole idea. Throw folks off of the scent. I won't even tell you when it happened or how. Just give you your 10%.
Blood money.
I never kill.
You swear?
So help me. All I do is rob folks that can afford to lose it. Besides, them express shipments are insured anyhow.
Never been a party to crime.
You'll need some money for an outfit. Horse, saddle, clothes, food. Or do you prefer this?
There's just one thing you've overlooked.
Yeah? What's that?
Why should people think I'm you? I don't have a scar like you have.
You have now. We'll have a practice run. You'll ride through a certain town attracting attention as Red Haskell, while I'm off in the opposite direction attending to business. Our business, partner. See how easy it is?
Yeah.
Between jobs, you just lay doggo. Keep out of sight until I give you orders where to head next.
Right.
We'll make this spot our rendezvous. Now, ain't you glad you didn't spoil them good looks of yours with a bullet?
Sure. Sure I am. That's how it started.
This was last July?
Yes.
Well, go on.
Well, things went along for months. Me doubling for Red Haskell until he got the reputation of being the devil himself. Every word once.
He played fair with you?
You mean, did I get my share of the loot? Yeah, I made plenty. But there was another promise he didn't keep. One day in January, I learned that he'd shot the driver of the Lone Pine Darwin stage. Killed him in cold blood. So I decided I was going to break with Red Haskell at our next meeting. Stealing is one thing, but murder is murder.
I killed him in self-defense.
That ain't the way I heard it.
Who you been talking to?
I read it in the newspaper.
Oh. Well, just be careful in the future.
There's going to be no future where you and me are concerned. I told you, Red, I'm through.
Quitting, eh?
That's right.
Yellow. Well, I ain't letting you quit, you savvy. You're in on this and you can't back out now.
Let go of me.
That scar on your face turns livid when you get mad, just like mine. You sure are a dead ringer for me. I wouldn't try to welch on this job if I were you, partner.
I was trapped and I knew it. He had me where he wanted me. I didn't have the guts to do anything but to go along with him. Many's the time I wish I'd put that bullet in my head the first day I met Red Haskell. After that, things went from bad to worse. Red stopping at nothing. He couldn't hide from me what he was doing. The whole desert rocked with it.
How long did this go on?
A couple of more months.
And you still couldn't muster the moral courage to make a break?
Not until early this spring when I met a girl. Daughter of a homesteader over near Wild Rose. She seemed to like me pretty well, too. Suddenly I began to think what it would mean to lead an honorable life. Have a home, a family. Love gave me courage. I wasn't afraid anymore. Of anything.
You needn't bother to take those saddlebags off. You and me are through. Belly aching again, eh? What's the matter? Want more dough?
I said I'm through.
All right, I'll up the ante. I'll give you 30% instead of 20.
Don't you understand English? I'm serving notice in you, Red. I pulled my last job for you. This is the end.
Oh, no, it ain't.
Take your thieving bloody hands off of me. I'd made the break. I was a free man again.
What did you do then?
The next day I headed for Wild Rose to see my girl. Tell her what I couldn't tell her before. That I loved her. Wanted to marry her. But on the way over, a posse picked me up and arrested me as Red Haskell. Well, you know the rest of the story.
So you never had the chance to make your declaration to this girl?
I have now.
She's in this courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Will the young lady please stand up? Thank you.
Order in the court. Any further questions?
Just one more. Mr. Clayton, how did this posse happen to pick you up?
Somebody tipped off the authorities. Told them where to find me. Must have been Red Haskell.
Your Honor, I object. The witness is expressing an opinion, not a fact.
Well, Mr. Wyckoff, you're the only one in a position to know who did tip you off.
Well, it didn't take long for the jury to bring in a verdict of not guilty, nor much longer for Andrew Clayton to get his girl. What about the real Red Haskell? Oh, they finally caught up with him, and he paid with his neck. But that trial was nothing compared with the one you've just seen. The trial of the man they thought was Red Haskell.